What is good? What is popping, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. Today, we got what seems to be the biggest dev post or blog that New World has come out with so far. Kind of goes over everything that they see as a critical issue and kind of put it into one place. Now, I'm going to go over this whole thing, but I'm not going to read it word for word. Some of the stuff they put in other posts that we've done videos on or covered before. So this kind of has it a one-stop shop, so you can kind of see everything that they know going on in the game right now and kind of what their approach is for the future of it. But before we get into it, we already know if you are enjoying this, hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy this kind of content and gets out to more people. Subscribe if you haven't already. We got a really great community going on over here, so why not be part of it? With all that being said, guys, let's get right into the video. All right. So, like I said, we got this update on current issues. It's a big dev block, pretty much the biggest one that they've posted so far. Now, when I say big, I don't necessarily mean crazy changes. I mean length. Like this is a long one. It kind of goes over everything and their outlook and kind of everything they have to say about it. So this is from Luxendra. But by the way, shout out to Luxendra. This person has been a huge dev poster that's kind of given us a lot of updates. So shout out to them. They seem to be really on top of it and pretty clear and communicative about what's going on. But anyway, it says, hey, adventurer, since the launch, the team has been working hard to gather, investigate, and address issues surfaced by our players. We know how much our players care, and we resolve to be more transparent and communicate more frequently about how we're addressing issues. To begin, we want to provide an update on issues we believe them be the most critical to our community. So pretty much currently the biggest issues that they see and based off of what the community said. So here, first off, it talks about character transfers, and it talks about here saying that by the time we're reading this, character transfers should be re-enabled everywhere, and that they want to appreciate the time that it took. People were patient; it took a long time, and they're just thankful that we kind of, kind of went through it with them. But here, it talks about how you can go into their fact if you have any questions about it. Now, with this, to my understanding, I think this means that server merges are also going to come in the near future, probably within like a month-ish or so, meaning that the kind of the smaller populated servers are going to be merged into ones. Now, the reason why they had a bunch of servers in the first place is when the game launched, it needed to have more servers because there's so many players. Now that it's kind of stabilized and how many people we probably have is what New World's real population is going to be. They're going to probably kind of have to merge some servers. I know there's some really low server pops, so that's probably coming. There's obviously no official news on it, but that's what I assume is the next part as far as servers go, because transfers are finally starting to actually work, and hopefully we have no more issues with it. Down here it talks about full server status. Again, just something talked about before, where if you're trying to transfer over to a full server, they monitor every 24 hours and what is considered a full status server and whether or not you can be able to transfer to it or not. Here they talk about this economy and deflation. Now they posted this graph before and talked about it before about how essentially the gold is good up until about 35, and then you have a little bit of good gold between 40 to 59, and then at 60 it starts going downhill. Now, we've read this before, done a video on it before, so we're not going to go over too much in detail, but essentially they said how they have increased, they think the amount of gold is going to be increased because Outpost Rush has essentially been enabled, and the end game staffs and stuff the bugs got fixed on that, so being able to close portals, they said that was going to be a big fix. Now, what they wanted to do here, big things, I've talked about this a couple of videos before because it's not very prevalent in the UI, and they said it here, but it says we also want to remind everyone that there's a big gold bonus 10 times for your first 3 faction missions each day. This isn't well communicated in the UX, so we'll work to on improving that. Make sure you run your 3 factions each day to help your personal gold balance. Something we've talked about before, but now they're actually making a statement themselves to make sure people know. And then this is talking about in our November major release, not a weekly patch, we have a slew of economic focused updates and bug fixes aimed at improving the current state of the economy. So what this means essentially is that, we just had 1.0.5, which I had a video on. Go check that out so you can kind of know what happened there. But this isn't necessarily going to be on a weekly patch. It's going to be by the end of November, essentially all these things should be in the game. So essentially a month from now. But it says reduce durability loss from PvP tests by 10%. That's pretty big. I was wondering how much they were going to decreases. They talked about, I did a video on their PvP update that they did a little post on it, but they didn't give any numbers. 10% is a pretty good amount. We're going to have to see if that's good enough, though, because I know that some people are worried that it's kind of pricey to, including myself, to repair your stuff. Now, they extended tax housing periods from 5 to 7 days without increasing tax amount. That's good. I think this was actually already implemented, but everyone is talking about this because it's way too, like 5 days isn't even a full week, so they were confused why it was 5 days in the first place. So it's going to 7 now, which is good. One of the biggest things here that I talked about in my previous videos is that they reduce the attribute respec coin cost by 60%. And there's also in the previous update, they also talked about how they were supposed to reduce the attribute or reduce the respec cost of weapon mastery by 75%. That's going to be a huge thing. Now, I think this is indicative of them preparing for future content. Now, if you think about it and they introduce new weapons or kind of more ways that you can interact with stats and stuff in future content. Right now, if they were going to pump it out, it wouldn't do much because everyone would be wanting to like respec to the Void Gauntlet or intelligence or whatever, right? And it costs so much money that people would start going broke because they want to do it. So I think this is prepping for future content as well as a quality of life that people have been asking for because it was really expensive to be respecking. And then this is just saying they reduce the quantity of honey gained from apiaries by 50% and the amount of milk from cows by 65%. Essentially, they wanted to make it a little bit less when you found it in the towns and stuff because it was kind of high. And it says the peas and cows are happy about this change. All right, moving on. They kind of misspelled the sentence, but it says all training posts will have been linked. Essentially, they're saying that all training posts are going to be linked. This change was made to strengthen the economy's less traveled territories to ensure them item availability in all territories. Now, this is a really huge change. I think people might underestimate how impactful this can be. I actually don't know. Kind of might be a hot take if this is good or bad, because essentially what this means is that you could be, from my understanding, you could be in Everfall and be able to buy something from Monarch's Bluff, or you could buy something from, I don't know, Morningdale or something. And essentially, it doesn't matter where you are. You could buy it from any territory. Now, the reason why I think this could be potentially harmful is if you think about it and you go to somewhere like Brightwood or Morningdale, and where maybe not as high trading volume compared to like Windsward or Everfall, you could kind of maybe sell some stuff a little bit higher at those territories and make a little bit more gold because there's not as much trading going on there versus Windsward, which is stuff is always going to be a little bit lower. Everfall is going to be a little bit lower. So you aren't going to be making as much money, but it is nice because I understand that because of that, some people don't ever buy from other trading posts and they just go to Windsward and Everfall. So we're gonna have to really see how this shapes out. But I think this is a really big change. It's good and bad, I think. And I before I make a huge kind of opinion on it, I'm gonna want to see how it plays out in the game. But moving on, it says fees for buy and sell orders are defined by settlement that you're posting them from. Transaction taxes on purchases you make are defined by the settlement. Items listed in sell orders that expire are returned to the settlement from which they were posted, and no longer are you going to be able to post for 28 days. The maximum is now going to be 14. So essentially, it's saying that if you are in Everfall and you buy something from, I don't know, from Morningdale, you're going to the taxes and everything associated with it is going to be from Morningdale, the place you bought it, not from Everfall. Now, we are amping the potency of expeditions by doing the following. They're increasing the coin gained from expedition bars starting at Starstone Bears by 25% and ramping them up to endgame by 100%. Now, that's pretty good. I know some people were wondering about endgame gold and stuff, so this is a really great change. Reduce the coin cost of each of the tuning orbs and increase the corrupted shards players earn from minor and major corrupted breaches. This is really huge. I don't know if this is the whole Azoth staff change that they were talking about, or tuning orbs, I should say, not Azoth staff. Essentially, they were saying that they were going to reduce how much it took to make tuning orbs because it was really hard to get into dungeon stuff later game because it was so time consuming to get these orbs. This is good. I wonder if this is enough though, or if there's more coming. And then reduce the coin cost of chisels by 20 to 50%. They talked about this in the last video. They fixed the bug with repair kits to no longer require coin. Essentially, you can make these repair kits, repair an item, and essentially to not have to pay coin for it. Over here, we just talked about economy excellence and coin farming. We talked about this in the last video. They had a big announcement on this on the patch updates. Essentially, you can't trade until you're at least level 10 and your account is 72 hours, has to be over 72 hours old. And essentially you get a little bit less gold and early on in the main story quest line, and later on you get more in the later on. It's still the same amount, but it's kind of spaced differently. So essentially people can't just make these accounts and farm gold and give it out to their main account and then delete the account and make another one. And essentially also know that this, along with this, and I talked about this in a previous video, they are ban hammering people that were doing exploits. They are not afraid to just ban you if you are doing stuff, so just be aware of that. Outpush rush, essentially they're just making sure they're trying to fix it as much as possible. They're continuously going to be working on it and support any takes that you have. This is outpush rush. It's something that a lot of people like, and it is really fun, but you have to you have to take it with a grain of salt because there is a lot of bugs and fixes that need to be in it to make it playable, or better, I should say. And they're talking about that here. Client-side authority. This is a really long thing. Essentially, they're saying that there was a recent bug in New World that drove some speculation of how this simulation works. The bug was addressed quickly, but both the speculation and bug deserve some clarity in the explanation. Essentially, what they're talking about is that the reason why this is happening is because the client-side authority, that the game was working. The problems were the client side, not the server side. Essentially, they just want to give some clarity and insight about how their clients work versus their servers, and what can cause issues and what can't cause issues. Moderation. It is important to us at the New World to be a fun, inclusive, and safe place for everyone in our community. We have seen several issues arise regarding in-game moderation that we want to address. First, we do enforce code of conduct. Essentially, it's just be a nice person. Um, and that moderation, they want to make sure it's not used as a tactic for like to weaponize it as a warfare tactic. Essentially, that you could use it to hold over somebody, that if they don't do this, you can ban them or something like that. War lag, just fixing war lag. That there's been a lot of problems in here with lag and stuff, and game freezing, people being able to glitch out the server, essentially run out the time, all these kind of things. So that's being fixed. Invasion difficulty and participation. They kind of touched on this in previous posts, but essentially they're just trying to fix invasions, make it so that it actually starts at the time it's supposed to start, who can join in on it, when, and how difficult it is. Patch schedule and downtimes. This is pretty big, but essentially our goal is to deliver weekly patches in addition to our major releases that address bugs, balance, and more. These patches and releases require server downtime. Following launch, our downtimes were taking place during EU prime time, and we have also encountered issues which required more downtime than planned or communicated. We understand this is a frustrating experience and can create the impression that we do favor some reasons over others. We have been listening to the community feedback and have been testing a few different time slots. And essentially, to ensure that you remain informed, we will provide updates every Tuesday on the status of our weekly patch. We understand that these downtimes may not be opportune for everyone, but we will continue to listen to your feedback and adjust to find a downtime schedule that impacts the fewest players. Essentially, that's nice. The patch is going to be coming out on Wednesday, but we will know on Tuesday, hopefully midday or earlier, about the patches rather than getting them like 7, 8, 9 p.m. Or at least that's my time. Sometimes that's in the middle of the night for some people, middle of the morning, whatever it is. So hopefully they can get it out early on Tuesdays, so everyone can kind of see it beforehand. They just decided, they talked about exactly how luck works. We kind of know how luck works, but this is just their official kind of post about it. Recently, we've received a lot of questions how luck works. Luck, the general type, affects your chance to roll higher on our list of items that come from enemies and containers like stockpiles. So essentially, there's no guarantee you're going to get it, but having more luck essentially just increases. It's just basic how luck works. Fishing chests, they're not letting you get they remove the amount of gold and you receive from fishing chests because of botting issues and stuff. Perks and gems. So this is really fixing the big issues. Essentially, like if the onyx, essentially, it was supposed to give flat damage. Or it was supposed to give critical damage reduction. It was giving flat damage reduction. So they're fixing a lot of how perks and gems work in the game to make sure that it's working properly. Like the bloodlust or whatever from the great axe that was giving a lot of movement, and the increased DPS from the hatchet and stuff like that. They fixed the strength bug, which is really nice. Property taxes, faction tokens, world clock bug, images in chat. These are all just kind of like quality of life changes. We do hear the feedback that property taxes are high and the rate of payment is high. This is by design. Owning 3 homes, very nice homes in different parts of Return, is not intended to be an easily achievable thing. So essentially, they don't want people to have at 3 houses, 3 $20,000 houses, and it should be a walk in the park. They want it to be hard, just like they talked about earlier, how they want it to be hard to control territories. It looks like they don't want one person or one group of people or whatever to be able to kind of dominate something. They want it to, if you want to have it, you can, but it's just going to require a lot of work. They fixed the crouching bug with the spam crouching for healing. And then they go way over here, this huge high watermark system. I might make a separate video just talking about this, but essentially they fixed the problem where you couldn't get the 600 drops. They said it in their patch notes. They were fixing it. Essentially, there's a bug where you can only get 589 drops, and that was obviously not intended, because they talked previously about how there were supposed to be 600 drops in the game, but we knew that wasn't true. Turns out there was a bug, and they're saying that they fixed it all. Essentially, a TLDR of this: starting at 60, you get a base watermark score of 500. You have to get drops to increase it from anything that's not craftable or quest items. If anything else can drop a higher watermark for your weapons. And 64 plus items are capable of reliably dropping up to 600 gear, and that expedition bosses will always drop an item that increases your high watermark system. Now, that's just a TLDR of this. You can read it for yourself. If you want a deeper explanation, we've done a couple videos on it. There's a lot of videos out there and kind of posts about reading how the high watermark system works. And the biggest thing is this communication. One of the biggest things, I should say. We've been listening to your feedback on ways we can improve our communication with you. This post, which hopefully you've gotten this far into, is an expression of our desire to do a better job communicating about the issues and feedback we receive from our passionate community. We are making several improvements. First, we introduced the Dev Corner. If you know, the Dev Corner is the stuff where we got the PvP updates and stuff that are going to be coming out. Where the stuff earlier that we read, we got the first kind of sneak peek of that from this Dev Corner. A place where we will work with the design leads to provide greater insights of how various aspects of the new world work. Additionally, We have made the commitment to post a notice every Tuesday on status about weekly patches. We are also working very hard to be more actively communicative and present here in the forums on a daily basis. We want to continue to make further improvements, especially on our known issues list and bug tracker work. We hear your feedback. We'll be working to improve. We appreciate your patience, support, and understanding while we address these issues and continue to improve our communication with our community on issues moving forward. Additionally, we will provide regular updates on key issues moving forward. See you in your journal. So, guys, I don't know about you. I've been talking about this for a little over a week now. A lot of people were kind of shitting on Amazon, saying they don't care. They're just going for a cash grab and stuff. And I was kind of giving a little bit of hot take that I kind of care, or that I was kind of supporting them, that I know that they do care. There is a lot of issues, and they are absolutely not, they are unacceptable. They should be fixed. But I do believe that Amazon was working on them, and I kind of think that they do really care about this game. I'm going to keep saying it. This is even more apparent that they do. I've talked about it before, but like they obviously care about this game. They want to continue to work. They want to make money off it. Like, think about this: if they want to make money, they're going to have to continue to improve the game and make people actually play, right? So they're obviously going to have issues, but it seems that when they do come up, they are going to be try to be as transparent and communicative as possible, so they can get them fixed early. This is a huge post that talks about all that. All these are all the issues that we kind of talked about, and that's been known since the launch of the game. And now this is a really long list, and that's kind of unfortunate, especially for people that have such a bad taste in the mouth. They stop playing the game or they won't come back to it. But they're working on it, so stick with it. I know this game is going to succeed. It's going to do well. I know it is. And if it really doesn't, I'll be the first to admit it. I'm going to be honest here. I love this game. I think it has a really great vision. But if it doesn't have a vision or a future, in my opinion, then I will say it. But for right now, I think it really does, have a really good foundation, and has a team that I think cares. They're trying to add more people to the team. They're not trying to. They're trying to hire like over 160 positions to make this game continue to work for AGS. So, you guys, that's going to do it. I hope you guys did enjoy this. If you did, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you want. Hit the bell notification. It does help me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy this kind of content. Gets out to more people. And you can be part of this really awesome community. Let me know what you guys think about this down below. Are you guys still playing New World? Are you going to give it another fighting chance because of this? Do you think Amazon's doing a good job of communicating stuff? Let me know down below. And anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Have a great rest of your day. Until next time. Take it easy.